welcome to another episode of Wellness and Growth Journeys, Empowering Women's Health. I am your host, Mialisa Garnes, and today we have in our virtual studio JoseAHernandez. Welcome, Jose.
Hello, JoseAHernandez. Nice to be here. Nice to be a part of this.
No, I can't even get JoseAHernandez. I can't even get it. That was, I can't even get it there.
No. It was pretty good.
It was good?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was pretty good. It can be hard to roll. I struggled a lot with the R's.
You struggled?
Yeah. I struggled with the R's. I had to go to speech therapy for my R's. So I had trouble saying my own name.
Well, that's a little backstory there for you. Welcome, Jose. Now you are a gerontology expert. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, gerontology. My master's degree is in gerontology, which is the study of older adults. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I do think I know a good amount.
Okay, good. And that good amount that you know is what we want you to share with us today. You're also a physical therapist. So you help people in general, but we can say women because we targeting women here on this podcast, but understand how movement, strength, and environment support healthy aging for themselves and, of course, loved ones that they care for, right? And also navigating midlife changes and caregiving roles. And I do know there are some women, and I guess how life plays out really is that your parents get older and then you take care of them. Um, so normally that's how life plays out. Either they move in with you, or you go and just check up on them and make sure that they're okay. Or then there are like other things, but like homes and that kind of thing. But normally people kind of keep their loved ones home, unless of course they you know are really sick and they need constant kind of nursing care. And then I know there are a bunch of programs even for that still allows people to be home in their space while they're being taken care of. But yeah, just I guess today we'll be speaking, to women who are getting older, and then to women who are also caregivers themselves.
Yeah, I am a physical therapist assistant. Uh, so, but I do work primarily with older adults. uh, and I go to their homes. So a lot of the people that I treat are people who have trouble leaving their homes.
So, who is if many of our listeners, are women, 35, 40, in their 50s, right? And, we started to feel the impact of aging. Up to this morning, I got up. I was just sleeping. I got a pain in my hip. Just sleeping. I think I slept too long on one side.
Uh
So
huh.
on that side, I got a pain in my hip. And it's like, you just start to feel like these odd pains and different parts of your body, as you get older, right? But what's really happening in our bodies during this phase, and that we don't even talk more about? What's really happening?
It depends on the person. As we get older, naturally, our body is going to change, and this is something that's completely natural, and should be welcomed. It's not always something scary. It's not fun waking up with pain on our hip, but sometimes it could be uh, it could be different things. By the time we're in our mid 20s, our muscles are already starting to become affected, so we're not gaining muscle as easily. Even for like our back, by the time you're in your late 20s, sometimes you can even see, if you get like a radiograph or some kind of imaging, you may even see some arthritis and wasting away in the back. So these things are natural. If you looked at an imaging of my body, it would show a lot of those things as well. Um, Sometimes it could be just sleeping in a bad position. Sometimes it could be an injury we had way long ago when we were when we were younger, when we were kids. We played a lot. We did certain activities more, and so those kind of activities added on to our life. A while back, I got a cold, and I actually pulled my muscle, a back muscle, just coughing.
Well, listen, sneezing is work with sneezing too. You get like a big sneeze and you don't catch the sneeze properly. You're like, oh, and it hurts more than the sneeze.
Yes, yes. And I had the realization of like, oh no, the cough, and now I have to watch how I cough and all those things. But these things are normal. If I'm coughing hard enough that I'm pulling a muscle, maybe that's something that I need to go get my cough checked. Um, so there's different reasons why we may have certain pains. Our lifestyle is a huge factor into that as well, and genetics and our environment and so on.
What role does strength and mobility play in helping women stay independent and healthy as they age? Because to be honest, we all of us got a lot of desk jobs, right? I have a desk job, right?
Hmm.
So in terms of me being mobile, I have to remind myself to get up every so often and stretch and walk around and that kind of thing. So there are a lot of women who do have desk jobs, so they're not as mobile in the work that they do, right? So then how then, do we um like what role really does strength and mobility play, as we get older, you know? And I guess what can we do about it, to make sure that we kind of stay on top of what we need to be doing in order to remain strong and and mobile.
In a perfect world, if let's say like in our case, or your case specifically, since someone who has a desk job, in a perfect world, you have a properly hidden monitor, you have a properly hidden chair, properly hidden desk. Your chair fits you properly. If it's too big, then you start slouching. If it's too small, then maybe your posture's not, it's uncomfortable. Uh, so having a good work environment is really important. Um, this can also affect things like carpal tunnel.
Right. Oh, that's a big one. Because I do find, yeah, it kind of starts to hurt, depending. And I was looking at, like blogs and stuff, and they were saying, like, depending on like, the chair and the height of the desk, and, and then you got the little mouse pads that have like the pad here, and like if that's good, and even how you kind of put your monitor or your keyboard or whatever in terms of height, and you got to look at all of these different things because you see sitting at a desk all day.
Yes, and like when we think about like typing, some of us are, if we're used to typing, we can type without looking, and with others, we have to look, and then that's where our posture starts to get affected.
That's me. I gotta look. You know what? And what's worse is that at times I find myself like having my face really close to the screen, and my husband would have to be like, or even when I worked, in an office, my coworker would be like, "You put on your glasses. You leading into the screen," and I wouldn't even realize that I was doing that. But then you say like, yeah, the more you do that, then depending on how the screen is, you start to sit badly and hunch over and hurt your neck and your back, and then of course everything is just offset.
Hmm. Yeah, and so if we're doing that 8 hours a day, for 5 days out of the week, uh, and that's being considerate, because sometimes we work more than that, especially if we're having our own practice or so on. We're doing a lot of extra work, and then you go home or you go to the couch, and then we slouch there a little bit. So everywhere we go, we kind of carry that posture with us. So having a good work environment is really important. A seminar I went to a few years back, they had a saying, your best posture is your next posture.
Ooh, like that. Your best posture is your next posture. Okay. Uh-huh.
And what that means is throughout the day, we're always moving. As I'm talking to you, I'm moving my hands, I'm kind of going side to side a little bit. And so whenever we're working, if we're really focused on typing this document or anything, we're a bit more transfixed in our position. So properly, we're supposed to move around every, let's say for every hour, 5 minutes, just stand up, do a little a lap around the room.
You said laughing. I think you running. We running? Running?
No, 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 yeah, just a little. Well, if you want, you can jog, but just a little walking lap. Uh, just move, and that can help kind of break any tension you may have, and then you come back and you go back to work. So those are things that might be helpful in the work practice. And then you're outside. If you're sitting down for a long time, your hips get really tight because we're in a flexed position for a long time. So getting up, do after work, going to like yoga, any type of tai chi, any type of those exercises can really help stretch out anything that's tight. Because when we're thinking about our desk position, we're like a very flexed. We're kind of curled up in a sense. So when you do exercises, you want to do things that kind of open you up a little bit more, bring out the posture, stretch the legs. So those are other things you can do outside the work as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then I guess if you don't do these things, can you I guess give me I guess an example? I guess I think I know because if you don't use it, let's say if you don't use it, you can lose it. What what exactly? I guess if we don't do these little exercises and stuff, like how does that tell on your body?
Okay, so our head is like about 12 to 15 pounds, uh, just the head alone. So if we go to the side, you see how my head's a little bit on the forward side. I don't know if my mic's okay. Uh, so if we're kind of flexed over for a long time, that's going to put a lot of pressure right here. So if you don't address these things, you can have a lot of spinal issues. Not in a like life or death type of thing, but you're going to have a lot of neck pain. Your necks can connect to your shoulders, and so sometimes when we're typing, we have our shoulders up, and when we're stressed, we tend to be shoulders up. So you're going to have a lot of upper back pain, neck pain. We talked about carpal tunnel. If you don't have proper alignment with your keyboard, you're going to have a more flexed wrist. So that's also going to affect carpal tunnel, and as a result, you may not be able to work anymore because now it's very painful. You're going to have nerve changes and so on.
Well, thank you for that. Let's switch gears a little bit, right? And let's go, I guess, to the women who are kind of supporting their parents that are getting older, right? And they're also raising their own families. So, what are some of the early signs of dementia or cognitive decline? That these women should be looking out for when it comes to looking after their, older parents, their aged parents.
I like to narrow it down to the ABCs. I forgot who I got this idea from, uh, but it's not my original idea. But they say A for activities of daily living, B for behavior, and C for cognition, the way our brain is thinking and working. When someone is having early signs of dementia, so when someone is having early signs of dementia, it may not always be super apparent. By the time
Right.
someone really, really realizes it, it's probably more in the middle stages,
Mm,
because it's a lot more advanced. So if you see that they're having trouble with activities of daily living, such as cooking, maybe remembering appointments, putting dishes where they're supposed to be, um, little things like that. You forget where you always put the forks. Those
right.
type of activities of daily living are a sign. Behavioral changes is another. Sometimes you have individuals who are very timid, reserved,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start noticing that they're a lot more outgoing. Maybe they start using explicit language a little bit
Okay.
more, things like that. And then for cognition, you're going to see changes in their memory. Sometimes they may have trouble processing things. So normally, if you gave someone a puzzle, They could do it in 5 minutes. They've always done puzzles. That's what they spend their hobby doing. But what took 5 minutes is now taking 10 minutes
Right.
because they're having trouble processing some of those things. So those are the three key early signs: activities of daily living, behavior, and cognition. Um, Dementia itself is an umbrella term. So I always like to refer to the similar term of cancer. When
Okay.
someone finds out they have cancer, you ask the doctor, well, what type of cancer do I have?
Right.
Because whatever type you have is going to determine your treatment that you're going to get for that.
Mhm.
Dementia is the same thing. If someone says you have dementia, it's just an umbrella term. Your next question should be, what type of dementia do I have?
Okay.
And the reason why is because each specific type of dementia, like Alzheimer's disease, neurocognitive disease, uh, Parkinson's, or Lewy body dementia, all those have different types of presentations.
Okay.
So if someone goes to you and says, "Well, you have dementia. Here is what dementia is," that's
Mhm.
just a generalized presentation of what they may have.
Okay.
But it's if you for older families, for let's say, okay, so Alzheimer's disease, you tend to have more short-term memory affected.
Mhm.
If I know I'm going to have that, then I need to start preparing myself to address these memory changes. That way I can be safe. Same thing going back to cooking, activities of daily living. Some individuals will start cooking and they forget they leave the stove on.
Right.
So now it's a fire emergency or fire risk of fire.
Mhm.
Um, and so, but that's something maybe more specific to Alzheimer's disease or neurocognitive disease. But other types of dementia, it still may be occurring, but maybe not as you. It may not be as expected compared to others.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah,
I gotta tell you, right? You were talking about the A and the B, and I was like, but that's happened to me. I just forget what.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't remember what I had last week
Uh-huh.
to eat, at the same time. And then you would see memes on the internet where you walk into a room and you're like, what did I come in here
Yeah,
for again?
yeah. Hmm.
And I remember when I was younger too, there was this book, I'm pretty sure it was a book where grandma was looking for her glasses. She was
Hmm.
looking all over the place, but they were always on top of her head. That has happened to me as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. And those things are normal.
Yeah, what then is the tipping point where you would be like, wait, like, and do those patients, or those suffering with dementia, do they realize that something is happening, or is it really somebody from the outside that has to say, well, no, this isn't too right, you literally just asked me the same question, or you know
So for the first question, as we get older, sometimes we our memory is going to change, and that's something that's normal. Exercise can help, nutrition can help, proper sleep can help, proper socialization, and just living a happy life can really help. Um, for so sometimes, like, even I forget where I park uh, when I'm going to the grocery store, but those things are there's context to them. uh we're stressed, we're in a hurry, they're about to close, so we just park the first part we park instead of we always park. We know we're looking for our glasses, uh, and but we don't feel them because sometimes we get used to the sensation that they're on our head. So we know we need the glasses. We know we're looking for our glasses, but we can't find them, and then we realize they're there.
they're like,
But that's because we're having so many different things um, going on. Um, for the awareness, the second question, they are aware. Um, it's kind of like how your example, you walk into a room, you know you're looking for something, but you can't remember what. uh and so to especially early on, someone may be aware that they are having these changes. They don't know how to explain it. It's going to be hard to talk about because we know that if we say it out loud, maybe we're making it real. um, and so they are aware, even in their more advanced stages, they're still aware of their environment. Dr. Powers, I believe, he's another geriatrician that has a lot that speaks a lot on dementia. He talks the way he describes it is that they just uh, the way they experience the world around them changes. It's just that's all dementia does. It changes the way they experience the world around us. So when we have these memory changes, we have these vision changes, our way of processing things is a lot different. They're still present in the moment, but they're experiencing the moment in a different way.
Yeah, I was trying to find like that like, oh no, something's wrong here, as opposed to, just like, yeah, everyday kind of things, because yeah, we don't really think about, oh, I forgot to do this, as like there's something wrong. We just kind of forgot, like you said, like your mind is on something else. I'm like, sure, I can't remember where I left my, I don't know, wallet, or, that kind of thing. And then you try to trace it back, but you don't automatically, oh, something wrong with me. Maybe as you get older, maybe you might think of that. But yeah, early on, then, um, you wouldn't think that something is wrong. But from your experience, because I could just imagine like the emotional kind of impact it would have, on caregivers. You're caring for your mom, your loved ones, right? How can they, and to see them going through it? Maybe it's not dementia. Maybe, they have impaired mobility. They're getting older, getting down. What are some of the um, ways that women caregivers can protect their own like well-being while still showing up for others? What, I guess, advice can you give?
Statistically speaking, women tend to be the caregivers more. Um, and you have a thing called care burden, where as you're caring for someone, you experience this stress and burnout from caring for someone. Caring for someone, regardless of whatever condition they have, is very, it can be very stressful. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I would just
Being in a
imagine.
relationship
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of work. And
Right.
that's where ideally you have two really good communicating partners. So when you're caring for someone, there's a lot of things you have to kind of pull back, or
Mm-hmm.
uh, not pull back, but look at. Um, Statistically speaking, women tend to be more caregivers. Culture is a big part. I'm Hispanic, so within our culture, Latinas or females are tend to be seen as the carers. They're more caring, while men are the providers.
Right.
It's just something that happens culturally,
Yeah.
um, and so as a result, you have these women care partners who in some cases, I don't want to say they're forced, but they're kind of feel obligated that they have to
Mm-hmm.
take in this care role.
Right.
And that can lead a lot of stress just by that circumstance itself. The other thing is you have to think about relationships. Sometimes you have a parent who has dementia,
Right.
their daughter's taking care of them, but they didn't have a really good upbringing in the
Mm-hmm.
sense of they didn't have a good relationship with their parents. And so now you're caring for someone in all aspects of their life when you remember and you look at them and you say, well, you didn't do this for me.
Yeah.
So there's those type of stresses as well to consider.
Right. Right.
uh, there's the physical stress as well. Caring for someone can be physically demanding,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of if you're a male or female. It's physically demanding. Helping
Right.
someone into the shower, helping someone out of bed, if they're in a wheelchair, helping them to the wheelchair. So all these things can put a lot of physical stress on the individual. They're going to have maybe shoulder pain, back pain is a really big one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so for females specifically, it's important to kind of peel back all these different causes of the stress, because when someone is caring for someone, it's important to know you're not alone.
Yeah.
Going back into the carer roles, typically, generally speaking, women will be the hands-on carer, and
Yeah.
then the males will be like, well, I'm planning all these things, I'm managing the finances. It's a old school kind of way of thought, but it's something that is still happening.
So relevant. Mm-hmm.
And so, regardless of whatever type of carer you are, it's important to have a team. Okay, 3 days out of the week, I'm going to do this, but the other 3 days, I need you to do this because this is physically demanding for me,
Yeah.
or emotionally demanding. If
Yeah.
you're, we talked about the disconnect within relationships, but if you're really, really connected with someone, it's hard to see them.
Yeah.
I remember my mom had a very minor surgery, very minor, in and
Mm-hmm.
out, outpatient type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I work in the medical field. I see this a lot every day. But when I saw her bruised up from the surgery, uh, I didn't know how to react.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I I know these things. I You could ask me, and I can give you a whole lecture on what to expect, all these things. But when I was there in that position, I froze up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's that type of aspect as well, where you're seeing someone you really, really care about change in a way that it's hard for you to accept.
Yes. And see, and it's new for you to see as well, right? Even, and it doesn't even have to be a surgery, but just looking at your parents and and you realize those wrinkles weren't there. You realize that they're not moving as fast as they used to. There's some gray hair. You could see the aging, right? And then like it just kind of hits you that they're getting older. You know what happens? Well, typically everything plays out, right? So it's like it's emotional on its own, and then you add the burden of taking care of them now to the mix. Then I could just see like like yeah, I could just see that being a really big emotional burden that yeah, you kind of have to deal with. And I've heard of situations and cases where people um, people saw their loved ones just go down, and they don't remember them, and and then some really horrible things that they're not cognizant that they're doing, but like you say, like they're changing the personalities to cussing at you, and they're being really rude, and they don't remember you and that kind of thing. I can't even imagine how hard that would be to deal with, especially if it compares to you having like a really loving relationship as you grew up in a loving kind of family and household, then to kind of have that 180 switch, and then you have to be the one taking care of them. So it's not even like you could you shut them out and know, okay, they're going through a thing. You're the one taking care of them. So I could just kind of imagine how for and we don't have time to, I guess, go into as deep into it as we can, um but yes, well, thank you for sharing the signs to look out for, with dementia and stuff. And then I guess the what kind of advice you could give for like kind of dealing and coping with, maybe you might even have to go therapy yourself to kind of help you um kind of just, yeah, transition and exist, because I'm pretty sure you might want to vent, and if you don't have that community around you to help you, no, that's another thing, because like say it's your parents and you don't have siblings, like you're the only child, right? So you kind of deal with it, and they don't have siblings, because I guess you'd be thinking, oh, maybe I could, but they don't, their siblings aren't alive, or and you feel kind of alone in it. um you know uh yeah, I guess getting some help, therapy wise, and there are solutions out there as well. There
Yeah,
are
yeah.
places that can help.
I'm
Yes.
hoping to to be a solution.
Yes,
Uh,
there are places that can help you with that. And I know that people have like a negative view of like I want to say retirement homes, right? But retirement homes, especially in the US, they've been doing some things that I'm like, Listen, I feel like I want to sign up for one of these as I get older because
Yeah,
it seems like this is where it's at. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like they got activities to kind of keep you moving and health and healthy. Like you don't have like a hospital kind of setup for some of them. It's more like a community. So you have like your own space, your own little apartment. You know, you got your activities and everything. Yes, I know, you know, as life would have it that your friends might go before you, and so that might be like a looming kind of thing over it. But in terms of like living out the rest of your life for the best that you have left,
Yeah.
oh, that sounds amazing to me. That sounds amazing. And then you think, you know, you don't want to burden your family. You think about that kind of stuff. So then you kind of set up like your latter years, or your last years, perhaps, in like the best circumstances ever, in my opinion. You know,
Hmm.
um, and then you have, you know, the nurses, and you know, you probably have like trainers, and then nutritionists and that kind of thing, just kind of helping you to kind of live a healthy life even in your elder years. So there are options. But for those who don't have, you know, the maybe the financial aspect of it to have, you know, help that way, it's still good, you know, that you're able to share like what you could do in the meantime or right now, to kind of deal with this situation, right? Um, so I guess back to, you know, women as we age and so on, and we spoke about how to kind of keep active and mobile at work. How about at home? What do we know? I know that we probably run around doing all kinds of things, you know, laundry, cooking, cleaning, that kind of thing. Is that enough, or do we need to do more as we get older?
Properly, no.
Probably no. Okay.
Yeah. So you have a thing called being physically active and being physically fit. Uh, Laundry, household stuff is tiring stuff. So I don't want to. I get tired just cleaning up the house a little bit, but that is hard work. It's a lot of things to do. But to be physically fit, you're doing so. Fitness is a whole paradigm. You have your strength, you have your endurance, you have your balance, you have your flexibility. So there's all these different parts of what makes someone physically fit. Being physically active, you're using your body, and that's just as good. But if you really, really want to address any issues, you have to look at the whole paradigm. Like laundry will be a lot of m- mobility to an extent, but strengthening because it's hard to carry wet clothes, put it into the dryer. Same thing when you're sweeping or you're mopping. That's using a lot of strength. Depending on your fitness level, it may be some cardiovascular stuff as well.
Right.
Uh, so properly, you would be you would want to be physically fit. You're doing stretches every day. You're doing your strength training every day. You're doing your cardio every day. As we get older, balance is something that's really important. Even agility. This is where you'll see like football players like go really fast on the ladder and
Hmm.
change directions and everything. But we need to do that as we get older. As we, especially on the oldest of the old, or older adults, turning can lead to falls. But that's agility, a change in direction. So at home, being physically active is really important. Doing something that helps you relax. For some people, they like cleaning. For some people, it's the garden.
Hmm.
Gardening is
Yes.
also like really, really tiring. You're digging up holes. You're putting the plants. You're moving the trees.
You're
All
usually
those things are
outside. Yeah.
yes, all those things are really difficult, but that's only a small part of the fitness spectrum. You want to make sure you're doing the mobility because that mobility, like stretching, is going to help decrease any muscle tightness, and that may be cause of the hip pain that we're feeling. Um, the endurance, like running, walking, cycling, swimming, all those things can help us not get tired as easily. And I always use the example of kids at the park. You take kids to the park and they're jumping around, they're screaming, they're happy, they're having fun. After 2 hours, they're kind of dragging back to the car and they knock out in the car.
It's true.
We're the exact same way. We start cleaning and we're dancing, we're listening to music, we're having fun. And then we're halfway there and we're like, okay, I just need to finish this load. I just need to fold these. And we get tired. And when we get tired, our posture starts to break. We're not being as effective with our body mechanics. Instead of like sweeping properly, now we're just kind of rushing through it. And then that puts our back at risk and so on. So in an ideal perfect world, we would do stretching, balance, all these different things. uh, that's a perfect world. What I always like to say for any client or any individual is do doing something is better than doing nothing. Even if it's a 5 minute stretch, even if it's a 5 minute, 10 minute walk, you're getting the ball rolling. You don't have to if you want to start lifting or being physically fit. You don't have to do all these different things because it's not realistic in the sense of you can't from one day to the next add in all these different types of training. It's very difficult. You're gonna burn out like that. Just start off something small. Okay, I have some tightness. Every morning, I'm gonna do a 5 minute stretch, and that'll be okay. You're physically active and you're doing the stretches, and then you say, you know what? I'm feeling better. It's not as painful when I do the daily household stuff. Now, every day, I'm gonna walk around the block before I leave to work. And so now you're starting to add all these different things.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for that. I do remember. Yep, yeah. You cleaning the whole thing. You're dancing, and you saying you're sweating on your place, and I'm like, well, I done my workout for the day. I did it, done it, dusted. But like you said, there are all sorts of different things that come into play. I remember also taking a yoga class once. I haven't really taken yoga because it's so deceptive. Yoga is deceptive because you think that because you just stretching that it's not like it's a lazy way, but it's like it's not as heart racing. But let me tell you, it's so deceptive. I remember doing this yoga class and I was like, oh my word. My heart rate was up. I was sweating. I definitely felt my muscles working. Just even when it was just stretches and it was something else. So getting that in there and the mobility, like you say, is a big thing as well. Because you don't do that normally. Like how often do you do I mean, when you're kids, you're doing like the jacks. This was called it. You're
Yeah,
hopping
yeah,
around and
the
you
jumping jacks. Yeah.
yes. When you put the oh my gosh, was it hopscotch? I think it's hopscotch where you put the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
numbers
yeah,
on the ground and then you picking up the rock or whatever on one leg and that kind of
yeah,
thing. When you're younger, you're doing all kinds of things, but then as you get older and we a lot less fun, we we kind of go into this kind of mundane kind of routine of just going to work and coming home. And yes, we have the cleaning in there, but all the other things like the stretching and the mobility and the agility things we don't do unless of course we do some sort of sport. But a
yeah.
lot of people don't really do like a sport. So I guess as we wrap up, um, if a woman listening takes away just one action today, to support their own aging process or maybe her role as a caregiver, what was that one thing that you would want them to remember? If they forget everything that we spoke about today, what is the one thing that you would want them to remember?
It's okay to do things for yourself.
Ooh, love
Yeah.
that. Love that.
Uh, when it comes to exercise, it doesn't have to be running, strengthening, all those things. It can be dance. Dance is all those things at once. And dancing can be fun. It can be boxing. It can be a workout class. One of the hardest classes I've ever taken, and I used to do like powerlifting and long distance running. I took a Pilates class, and that one just knocked me out.
Listen, Pilates is no joke. No joke.
Yes, it and so do if you want to get into being physically active, it's okay to do something you enjoy. It doesn't have to be what all these uh, newspapers and news articles, all these things are telling you to do. Do something that'll get you moving and that you enjoy. Maybe it won't get the whole spectrum like we talked about, but you're moving, you're exercising, you're connecting with people. As a care partner, same thing. When we're caring for someone, we say, "Oh, I can't do this. I need to do this. I can't go to this party. I need to be with this person." And so you start isolating yourself a lot. It's important to spend time for yourself. Uh, find local resources, support groups, local sources, services that can help you take care of someone, and you spend that 1 hour just sitting down at the park or reading that book you've been wanting to read. Do something for yourself. No matter what situation you're in, it's okay to do something for yourself.
I love that. I love that. Thank you, Jose. And thank you so much. This was such a great discussion. Again, we didn't get to go in it nitty gritty, but I suppose maybe we can have a part two where we just focus on maybe dementia and dementia care and that kind of thing. If anyone is listening and they're really interested, definitely drop a comment in the description. Sorry, on YouTube. I think you'll also put comments on the audio version as well. And let us know. And then we would come up and we would have a session and we would just talk about dementia care, and that kind of stuff. And with Jose, you can find him on chrysalisaging.com. All of his contacts are there. He's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn as well. And just for some clarity, he does help with consultations, coaching, and education on dementia care and living well. And he does virtual consultations as well. So you don't even have to be in Texas. You can reach out to him and he'll be able to have a consultation with you online. Thank you so much, Jose.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure to be a part of this.
Thank you for joining us on another Wellness and Growth Journeys podcast. Now, if you're inspired to elevate your health and wellness business, the Wellness Growth Agency is here to guide you. We specialize in tailored digital marketing strategies to enhance your client engagement, grow your practice, and improve overall satisfaction. Let's unlock the potential of your business together. Visit us at wellnessgrowthagency.com to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more insightful episodes. Until next time, keep thriving and remember, wellness is a journey. Growth is the destination.